The focus will be on a specific tool, right? The name of the tool is Humata AI. And I will try to explain all the aspects of Humata AI, how we can integrate it in our classroom teaching, how it can be useful for students in learning, as well as with respect to research, right? So let me start with basics. So what I'm going to show you first is how to use this particular tool. So all you need to do is you need to go to this particular humata.ai, right? I can paste this particular link in the chat box. So here, uh, once you go here, then they will simply ask for sign up. So the option is over here. So as you can see, sign up. And for the very first time, they will just ask for your preferable email ID as well as password. So for example, let me give one particular email address, right? And then I'm just giving some password, okay? And then it will ask for some basic details like first name, last name, organization name, and then you can just click on create account and it will be created. It will also ask for verification. So you will get one verification email, and then soon you will be able to see the interface, which will look something like this, right? So where you will be able to see all the files which are going, which you are going to interact with. And now I will come to the main part, right? What is Humata AI and how it differs from Chat GPT, and how we can use it, right? So let me highlight some of the key features of Humata AI. So the first one is, as you can see, let's say you have very large documents, so and you want to quickly understand what the underlying document is trying to say. So that is the first purpose, right? So by default, whenever you will upload any document, first thing Humata AI will do is nothing but it will generate summarization of it. And I would also like to highlight here, it's not like that you can just upload PDF. It supports doc file, PPT, as well as it also supports URL. So let's say you want to integrate some material which is there on URL, public URL, then you can just paste that particular URL, and all the content of that particular URL will be converted into PDF, and then you will be able to see it. So let me try to demonstrate it. So I've already uploaded one file, but let me show you the aspect of it, how it actually works. So all you need to do is click on this particular upload. So let me go back one more time. You just need to click on this upload a file button, and then select any file with which you want to interact. So for example, I want to learn about English grammar rules. So I am just selecting this particular file, and it has been already selected. After a few seconds, you will be able to see this particular ask icon over here. So now let me click on this particular ask icon. So as you can see, it will take a couple of seconds, but after that, first thing it will do is it will summarize the entire document, and it will give us one paragraph summary of the entire content, right? What it's trying to say, right? About the so I've already interacted with this particular PDF, so that's why something else is appearing. But in general, if you whenever you will upload a document, fresh document, it will first summarize it. And then the interesting aspect about this Humata is you can ask questions about PDF, and it will answer it. That is obvious, but the interface is quite interesting. So as you can see, the questions with you can interact using this left side window, and whatever answers you are getting, for those answers you are also getting the citations. So you can actually verify from where those content is coming up, right? So it's not like that. For example, in the case of Chat GPT, it can give us some false answers also, right? Many times. Whereas here, everything is dependent upon content. So let's say you have taught one particular chapter and you want to check knowledge of students with respect to that particular module, then students can directly interact with this interface, and then it specifically they will be able to locate from where those answers are coming. For example, I asked this, what is the definition of pronouns, but it couldn't find. The document does not provide that particular definition. But now I've asked it, whatever document says about pronouns, please explain it to me. So then you will be able to see document states pronouns means this. And then if I click on this particular link, so as you can see, it's appearing in yellow color. So this is kind of verification that whatever answers we are getting, those answers are not kind of in some sense artificially generated. They are based on the material which we are providing. So that is the interesting aspect of, or one can say the key aspect of this Humata AI. I would say this, it's nice interface where you can verify the answers which you are getting by just checking on the right hand side, right, those highlighted parts. And the second thing is it's interactive, right? So it will make our reading quite interesting. Instead of monotonously reading the entire document, now you can focus on some specific aspects of document. Imagine you have a document of length, let's say 50 pages, and you are looking for a particular definition, then it will take a lot of time. Whereas here, you can just ask about it and you will directly reach to that particular portion where the definition or the underlying word has been mentioned. So this is the key aspect which I wanted to highlight initially. And as you can see, instant question answers and queries, right? It won't take much time, right? Whatever questions you ask, instantly you will get the corresponding answers for them. And I will also highlight how you can generate content with the help of this Humata AI. There are some settings, so I will talk about it later. So as you can see, unlike ChatGPT, Humata is built to work directly with files which we are going to provide, right? So that is there, and whatever files we are going to upload, the answers will be generated based on those files. So again, one more feature I would like to add over here is it's not like that every time you can interact with just one file. It may be possible that you upload multiple files. Let's say you are working in the domain of, let's say, machine learning, and with specific focus on, let's say, applications of machine learning in healthcare. And let's say you have you want to understand 5 different research papers. So what you can do, there is an option of creating a folder, right? So just to make things organized, you can create one folder, and in that particular folder you can put all those files, right? For example, I have created one folder, right, data integration and analysis, and I have uploaded 3 different files in it, right? And now with the help of Humata, right, there is one option, as you can see on the right hand side of my screen, that ask all. So now if I click on ask all, that means I'm going to I'm going to interact with all these 3 PDFs simultaneously, and then I will be able to do interesting things, right? So that is one more feature, right, which is quite interesting. It's not like that. Let's say you want to, so your student wants to prepare for, let's say, 3 different modules, then notes of those 3 modules can be uploaded, and then they can interact with it, right? So that is one more thing that about it. And with respect to encryption, right? So whatever we are going to store, or it's going to be stored in cloud, and they are using good encryption algorithms, right? If I can recall, then it's SHA 400, right? So this, with respect to security, it's quite safe. And then if let me demonstrate now specific use cases, right? How we can use, or how we can motivate our students to use Humata AI in the academics setup, right? So the first use case is about revision. So let me showcase how revision can be done efficiently with the help of Humata AI. So again, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the same PDF which I have uploaded, right? So as you can see, it's about English grammar rules, right? You can see some rules have been mentioned, and then later on some exercise is also there, right? Some true or false question, and as well as fill in the blank type of questions. So the very first question I'm asking is, what is the definition of adjective? So it's saying it does not provide any definition. Then I'm asking what all details about adjectives mentioned in the document. So it has mentioned correctly, right? So if I click here, then it will take me to the adjectives, and then I can read about it. So it can enhance my knowledge about adjectives, right? If someone doesn't know, then he or she can just write this query and get instant answers. Now, one more interesting thing which I feel this tool can be used in a creative way also. For example, let's say I want to understand my knowledge about this particular material. Let's say I've read this particular material, and now I want to test whether my knowledge is up to the mark or not. So what I have done, I have told it to give me 2 practice problems of true or false type based on the PDF, and then I am saying, let me answer them, and then give me the correct solution. So this way I can enhance my understanding. So it has asked these 2 questions, and then I have given this particular answer, that both are true, I'm saying, right? So then it's telling me that the second answer is actually false, and based on this material itself, the my answer is wrong. So again, so this can make one can say learning quite interesting, because nowadays students don't prefer to read the material in one go entirely. So this kind of mechanism can trigger reading, right? Can increase their engagement with respect to the given material, right? So this is one possible way with which that engagement can be improved, or one can say learning can be enhanced. And now I am asking, give me five more questions, right? And not only just about not only about adjectives but other things also, right? So it has given these questions and also along with their answers. But now I'm saying, don't give me the answers, just give me the questions, and then I will answer them, and then you give me the correct solution, right? So this kind of assessment, right? So this is not kind of graded assessment, of course, but students can do this kind of things on their own, and they can interact and learn well, right, with respect to the given material, right? So this is an interesting way. And now what I have done here, that not only it should give me the correct answer, but it should also provide me the one, in some sense, feedback, right, on which topics I am not doing well, and based on that I can again ask, right, give me more questions about those topics, right? Those kind of things that I have tried over here, right? And so again, as you can see, I've told it to give me three questions based on only concepts which I haven't understood properly, right? So then those questions are appearing, and now I'm asking, can you create 30 questions? So 30 questions which are purely based on this PDF itself, and then their correct answers are also appearing, right? So and again 20 more questions, right? So this way you can enhance your uh, uh, learning. And towards the end of this experiment, what I have done is I've told it to assume a role of tutor and ask me questions which are purely based on this particular document, and wait for my answer, and then correct me if I'm wrong, right? So this way that things will become interesting, right? So the first question has come, and then I've given the answer, and then I asked specifically what was I missing, right? And then it told me that this part was not uh, correct, and so on and so forth, right? So what I felt over here is some limitation is there, of course, that every time I have to tell it, unlike ChatGPT, here I have to tell it to ask me the next question, so on and so forth, right? So those limitations are there, but still it's a good thing. So that's why one can do what one can do, if he or she wants to use this intelligently, then instead of just asking question by question, you can also tell it to generate a number of questions simultaneously, and then you answer those questions, and then feedback comes, right? So those kind of mechanism one can incorporate to get better insights, right, about the document in limited time, right, in less time, right, one can say, right? So that is there. And then so for example, for one of the question I'm saying no idea, then it's answered. So here now I would like to add one more thing over here. Basically, that if you go into settings of this Humata, then okay, just a second. As you can see in settings, if I go to chat option, then there are three different options over here. So currently my mode is creative, but ideally, initially for students, that grounded mode is better. So in what will happen in grounded mode? So basically, whatever responses are coming, those responses will be purely based on the documents which we have uploaded. That is called grounded, right? So basically, it's going to use only knowledge which we have provided, right? So that's the idea of grounded. Whereas in the case of balanced approach, right, some of the information Numata may search on its own and give it to us. So that is a balance. So let's say some question is related to, let's say I have uploaded a document related to chemistry, and one question is about some molecule of chemistry, and it's not mentioned in the material, but by searching other resources, Umata can answer that particular question if we are using balance mode. And in the case of creative mode, right, it won't focus too much on our data, right? So ideally, one should use balance mode, so that most of the times we get our answers within the given material itself. And sometimes something is important, if we are asking, then it will still provide us the answer, but correctness will be more in the balanced one can say approach, or that. Whereas in the case of creative, it may possible that it adds something which may be false, right? So grounded and balanced, these two modes are good, right, if we are dealing with this Humata AI, right? So let me continue, right? So Again, I was here, right, in division. We are talking about this English grammar rules and other details about that, right? So here, okay, so and towards the end again I'm asking for feedback and so on and so forth, right? So that is there. So now not only this, you can also create mcqs, right? So that is also a possibility. So let me demonstrate one more use case where instead of english, now this time in fact I've used this chemistry itself, right? So maybe it's open over here, right? So as you can see, so let me showcase the document first. So this is one chapter of textbook, right? Classic. Again, it's about chemistry, right? I'm not going into the details. The main focus is how we can use this particular tool. So, what I wanted to highlight over here is that, for example, here for the very first question that I asked the atomic weight of calcium. So it's not mentioned in this material, right? Exactly 40.08 is not mentioned, but still it's answering because of the balance mode, right? Because it's not providing a citation. So that means it's not based on this particular material, of course. In second case, atomic weight of lithium, it's providing us the citation, right? It's so basically it's coming from this particular document itself, right? So I opened this multiple times, right? So, on several windows, so that's why maybe it's not going to that particular page, but soon it will, right? So, so as you can see, it's actually table, right? So, what I wanted to highlight, it also understand tables, right, very nicely, right? Because this information was present in the table, but still, Humata identified it or read it correctly, and it's providing us the correct answer. So, imagine a scenario where you are having a lot of data in tables, and you want to find a specific information, so and you want to recall it or you want to use it somewhere else, so then this will become quite handy, right? So again, 79th element of periodic table. So periodic table is coming up somewhere in this particular chapter, but I don't want to read it entirely, right? I'm just interested in 79th element, so it's giving me directly, right, what's that particular element, and so on and so forth. And for example, here also, right, I am asking for electronic configuration of rb, right? But it's giving us the correct answer, but it's not from the book again. So this way, if we use the balance mode, then it will be quite helpful, because sometimes if it can't read something from the book, let's say something is there in the table which is not readable, and but still we don't want to compromise our learning, right? So in that sense, balance mode is more efficient, so we'll be able to get some basic answers, right, by using some other means. So in background what they are doing we don't know, but basically they are using some other resources apart from what we have provided, of course. Now, something interesting I have done. I've asked this particular question, and this particular question was basically question from the exercise, right? So if I go over here and open this particular PDF, right? So and then towards the end, right, in the exercise, the I guess the very first question is this only, right? So it's taking some time, maybe because of size of the PDF, but what I'm trying to highlight is you can also practice. Students can also practice with exercise questions, right? That what can be the answer of that particular question, right? They are struggling, then they can use this particular resource and get the answer, right? So, for example, what is the basic theme of organization in the periodic table, right? So this was the question from the exercise, and what I've done, I've asked that particular question over here, and it has answered it, right? So now, apart from all this, let's say one more way of doing revision is, let's say I have read this particular unit, and now I've identified, let's say, some 4 or 5 key points or key insights about this particular topic. Then what I'm going to do, I will just write down those insights and let Humada tell me whether my insights are correct or not. So this is again, so this way we are encouraging writing also, right? Because you are basically summarizing what you have understood from the given content, and then Humada will verify that whether understanding of the student is correct or not. And if something is incorrect, then it will correct it, right? So, for example, what I have done, I have read, let's say, from my understanding, this particular statement is there that among transition metals 3D series, the change in atomic radii is much bigger as compared to those of representative elements across the period. So, straight away, it's telling me your understanding is incorrect. Here, the word, right? Bigger is wrong, right? Instead of that, the correct word, right? The correct answer is smaller, right? Correct statement is like this. So as you can see, right, it's highlighting, and also it also telling me the source of it, right? So if I click or not page, I should click over here, so it will take me to the that particular point where this has been mentioned, right? So this way you can also use it for revision purpose, right? One more mechanism, again MCQs one can generate, and then it will also give us the correct answers, right? And as you can see, that I'm also telling it to add references, right? So now references are also there, so if I click on the references, then it will take me to that particular portion where from where that particular MCQ has been generated, so on and so forth. So that is there. So as you can see, towards the end, I have written this particular three statements, and it has given feedback for each one of them, right? And for example, here instead of English, I have written British, and it has identified it correctly, right? So it's quite in that sense, it's quite intelligent, right? So this is about one can say one big use case, right? How one can use this with respect to revision point of view, right? So if I quickly summarize this, then we have seen these things, right? How we can revise definitions. Let's say some terms have been used many times in the class, but unfortunately, some of the students are unaware about them. So they can quickly search about those terms and then get insights, right? What they mean, right? With respect to the given material, right? Generation of practice problems, including MCQs, right? How we can obtain guidelines, how we can improve, right? Whatever understanding we have with that, right? And then how one can summarize key concepts. So for example, we can also tell it to summarize in subunits of the given material, right? So that way also it can help us. And interactive question answer, that is for there. And I've already explained these three modes, right? So I recommend you to use grounded or balance mode. Balance mode is fine for most of the cases, right? And now let's come to the next part. Let's how we can integrate this in classroom interactions. So I like one more feature of Humata, right, as compared to other tools, right? This supports many languages, right? So it also understand English, Spanish, French, and others. So let's say it may possible that your classroom contains students from multiple nations, and they don't know English very much, right? So they are, all of them are not having proficiency in English, let's say. So then if they are stuck, they can use this particular tool and interact in other languages also, and still get the uh, insights, right? What so I can showcase somewhere here, right? I've tried some other language also, right? So maybe or maybe here also I can try it, right? So but I've already done it, so let me showcase it, right? So it works well with in the Indian context. It works well with even one can say English, as well as apart from English, of course, Hindi as well as Gujarati, right? So it's not like that it's only supports uh, one can say English. So as you can see, right hand side, I have just uploaded my CV, and now I'm telling it to give me brief summary of this CV in Hindi, and then in Gujarati. Right, so it works well. Right, and all these languages are supported by it. Right, English, Spanish, French, German, Chinese, Japanese, Korean, Arabic, Russian, Italian. Right, so that is one more advantage which I wanted to highlight. That so that is it. And then of course interactive question answer sessions, like for example, let's say you want to check, right? Let's say you are talking about one important concept, and let's say 70% of the students are saying yes, and 30% of the students are saying no, this is false. Then you can just write that particular statement and let Humata say, and in between times you can you can sense that what students are thinking, right? So that way also one can use it, that during classroom sessions. And apart from this, one more interesting facility that which Humata provides is nothing but sharing. So as let me demonstrate that also. So for example, okay, so let me do this. So uh, I'm not focusing on what we are going to do with this three PDFs for now. I'm focusing on this particular sharing feature. So let me click on this share button. And currently it's restricted, but let me click over here. Now anyone with the link can utilize this material in the present form, and I can also recommend on here that which mode I am giving, right? For example, I can say balance mode, and then let's say I'm copying this particular link, and then I'm saying done. And now I'm going to this as you can see, guest browser, right? Guest browsing, and let me paste this particular link, and then hopefully I will be able to get the same thing, right? So as you can see, right, all those three documents will appear over here, and now I can interact with those three documents simultaneously. And this is what happens when you upload the document for the very first time. As you can see, it automatically generates the summary of all the documents, in this particular case three, and it is also suggesting us, right, you can ask this type of questions, right? So that is that. And by clicking on this right arrow, you will be able to see which all material that you have uploaded, right? So for example, we have total three files, so all those three files will be visible over here, one after another, right? And then you can interact with it, right? So that is, so this way what you can do as instructors, let's say you have taught one particular unit, and there are five different materials corresponding to that particular unit, so you can combine them and then you can share it with students, so then they can interact with it, right? So that is one interesting use case of it. Okay, now, okay, so again, I'm not sure how effective this will be, but one can also use Humata AI to for generation of curriculum design. So let me demonstrate one small use case that I also created with respect to this. I've created this particular folder, curriculum development, and as you can see, what I've done, I've taken two courses which are relevant, right? One course is corresponding to generative AI, and one more course is again it covers generative models, and third course is it's not relevant, but I'm just adding it to see whether it's taking components from the relevant things only, or whether it's taking something irrelevant, right? So this is English, and my objective is to design a course on, let's say, generative AI, right? So that is there. So let's start. So as you can see, I've already interacted. So let me just showcase what I have done. So first I have asked design 10 weeks long course based on the attached files on generative AI. And let me showcase the files, right? So first I should showcase what I've uploaded. So this is the syllabus of the first course, right? So let me do this, right? So now you will be able to see it. So this is the first course, and you will be able to see the content is listed over here, and some objectives are over here. What is the course description, and what is expected from the course? This is the first course. uh, Second course is about generative AI, right? So again, what I've done, this was one page, so I've converted that particular page into PDF and then uploaded, so that's why it's looking like this. But we are mainly interested in this content, right? So it's talking about this content. And the third thing is totally irrelevant. It's about English, right? So I have taken syllabus of English from one university, right? And now what I'm asking it to focus on generative AI only, right? So give me week wise content for the same. So it has developed it nicely, right? And it's correct also. And now I'm also, so I'm not so where, in which scenario one can follow this kind of mechanism. Let's say you want to follow, right, institutes with let's say in some sense topmost institutes like MIT, right, whose QS ranking is, let's say, one, or let's say you are considering top 10 universities of the world, and you want to offer a course which contain topics which these universities are offering. Then what you can do, you can just upload their files over here right hand side, and then you can instruct it to design a course, right, which covers different aspects. You can integrate different aspects from those courses in your course. So that is the motivation, right? So that's how you can do it. So if you have specific things in your mind, and you want to incorporate those things in your final syllabus, then this is a nice way to do it, right? So here, first thing is fine, it has generated something, but now I'm also asking it from where you have taken this each topic as well as subtopic. So now it's giving me details that the first topic has been taken from this place, second has been taken from this place, so on and so forth. So far so good. But now I am asking it to provide information or include one more module on generative AI in education, or maybe generative AI in teaching and learning, correct? So here it's telling me I cannot provide based on this. Why? Because this was grounded mode. Now, after this point, I will change the mode to, let's say, creative. And then if I ask it the same thing, then it has included that particular module, that too in this much detail, right? So as you can see, for this module itself, it's explaining me in detail which subtopics must appear. So that is the advantage of using creative way. So let's say sometimes if you don't know, let's some emerging topics are there and you want to get insights about them, then you can switch to creative mode, and there and again you have to re-verify whether these topics are making sense or not. But balanced or creative modes can help us in this way, right? And then you can revise your syllabus and then you can finalize it, right? So this is one interesting use case which can be useful in some specific scenario where again let me highlight this. You have specific things on your mind. Let's say you know you want to integrate, right? There's five different syllabus in your final uh, syllabus. Then you can include topics from those five. Then you can do this kind of thing, right? So that is that. Okay, so this is there. So these things I have already highlighted. That intelligent union of topics that can do, and creative mode we can use for inclusion of external topics which are not there in their material which we have uploaded. Right. So now let me focus on research aspect. Right. So how we can use this with respect to our one can say how we can make uh, reading research papers interesting, and how we can improve literature review with the help of Humata AI, right? So, what I have done for this particular purpose, I have taken three different documents, right? One white paper and two other resources, which are talking about impact of AI tools, right, on education, right? So now, okay, so let me showcase those documents first. So this is the first white paper which I have considered, right? Generative education framework, right? So it's talking about that. I'm not going into the details. Let's say we don't know what it talks. We are just reading the title, and then we are going to use Humata AI for better understanding about that. This is second paper, right? So it's talking about again generative AI in education, technical foundation, applications, and challenges. Right. So again, this is one chapter, right? So and all those details right over here, right? What it contains. And the third one, okay, sorry, this second one more time, sorry. So let's go to the third one, and it's about okay. So as you can see, how again it's about generative AI itself, and some definitions are given. So overall, one can say explanation about different terms of generative AI and what are the use cases of generative AI, and so on and so forth. Right. So those kind of basic things as well as some advanced things, right? How ChatGPT is being used and so on and so forth. Right. So now let's go to this. Let me okay. So let me go to the folder which contains all these three documents, and then we are going to interact with them, right? So this is the folder: data integration and analysis. And okay, so let me refresh this. Then that particular ask button will come, and then we'll be able to interact with it, right? So first, of course, we have to open that particular folder, and then we'll be able to see the files, and then of course on the right hand side we'll be able to see that particular ask all button. So currently also ask all is there, so it will include that extra file also, therefore I avoid it. And now you can see those three files are appearing over here, and now I can go to ask all. And now the very first thing which I have done over here is, so right hand side, you know what is going to appear. So I'm not revisiting. So the first thing, synthesize and compare the efficiency results of AI tools across different educational settings. So now it's going to provide us, right? What is the efficiency level of using different AI tools in education, right? So it is telling us in terms of effectiveness, right? So the first document says this, second this, so on and so forth, right? So uh, it's very in some sense, let's say we are not interested in other things. We just want to see what is the impact of AI tools in the educational setting, so we can just write this prompt and it will give us all the details. Let's say, for example, AI blended learning aims to address this particular problem by providing personalized attention. That's similar to one-to-one tutoring, thus enhancing educational outcomes. Right. So basically, it's giving us all the frameworks which are going on, right, which are enhancing education with the help of generative AI, right? So it's telling about two documents. So then I asked that after some time, I asked, how about this particular document? So I named it wrongly. So it has told me that your name is wrong. So then I asked, how about this particular document? Then it's telling me it's not talking about, it's talking about other things, and what things it is talking about, those things are listed over here, right? So this is fine. So this particular specific sub use case is telling us, let's say we are interested in only one. So you can imagine different scenario also. Let's say you are working on, let's say, latest technologies, like let's say graph neural network in computer vision, and you have four different papers showcasing different results on some image processing tasks. So you can just write this kind of prompt to compare the results with respect to accuracy, let's say. Right? So then you don't need to go through the entire document. And it's towards the end of the answer, it's also telling us from which page is this. So there are two things. One thing is citation. Citation means it will, if we click on that link, then it will lead us to the exact place from where the underlying statement has been taken. So that is citation. But if you click on this page number, then it will give us page number from which citations have been taken, right? So these two things are different, right? So citation means we'll go to the specific yellow places, whereas pages means this particular answer contains this pages, right? This particular answer has been generated by using contents of, not all, but some contents from this pages, right? At least one line will appear from each page, right? Then only that particular number will appear. So that way they are different. Okay. So now this is the first thing. Now let's go to the second idea. Now usually whenever we read any research paper, right, then we will be interested in learning about methodologies, right? What is the proposed methodology of the underlying work, right? So here what we are asking: identify and summarize key methodologies used in research studies on AI enhanced education, right? And it has given us all the methodologies. So let's say someone is planning to work in this particular domain, then he or she will be able to get insights like this, right? And again, I'm telling it to include all the PDFs and then regenerate the answer, right? So that is there. And sometimes it may be possible that you feel that everything is appearing from one. So then you can suggest it to regenerate with your specific change, right, which you are telling, right? So that is there. So this way you can compare in some sense different research papers, which is interesting use case. And apart from that, like I mentioned earlier, right? So here also I have one folder where I will just put my research papers only, and so that I can judge whether whatever answers have been generated by this Humata are making sense or not. Because if I'm saying something about this, then I should be fully aware, right, whether the answers are correct or not, right? So,
My
so this, yes,
pal?
yes.
Yes, I'm sorry to interrupt you. It's only because we have 15 minutes left and there are quite a few questions. So I was wondering whether you could take some questions at this point.
I will just take 2 minutes and then I will conclude.
Okay, please go ahead.
This is the last thing which I wanted to highlight. Okay, sure. So here, what I am asking, how better this particular approach is as compared to other state-of-the-art methods, right? So, for example, this is some new proposal, of course, therefore it has been published. So, how better it is as compared to other things? So, straight away it will say this in one line, right? So, this is the main idea, right? So, whenever we propose this kind of models, usually we look for performance, right? How better it. So, it's telling me that on test accuracy of this particular proposed model is 96.75, which is 16% better as compared to other methods, right? So this is good, and of course, that this is correct. And key contributions, that so it's summarizing this, and this is something out of the box that this was not mentioned in the paper, but still it has answered, right? So this was concept clustering coefficient, and it has told that it's correct. Whatever I have mentioned is right, and then I am asking true false type of question, right? So again, not necessarily this will be quite useful in the case of research paper, but in some specific cases, let's say you are working on a particular problem which is purely based on the given research paper, so then you must have thorough understanding of the paper. So at that time, this kind of one can say prompt can help you, right? Where questions have been generated, you will write down their answers, and then feedback will be given to you, right? Along with correct answers, right? So that is it. And then uh, one more thing, how we can summarize the contributions, right? So like, what I am just telling it to do is just focus on the novel contributions of both the works, and then we'll be able to see it. And then okay, so again, this is something which I haven't mentioned in the paper, and it is telling me I cannot provide answers for them, so which is perfectly fine. And then this is nothing but summary of introduction section. So this way you can make your reading of research papers quite interactive as well as interesting, right? So because you don't have to follow a linear ordering to read the paper, you can just focus on some relevant aspects, then go back and forth, and
Dr.
as well as
Jadeja, thank you so much. I see that this system has numerous features and capabilities.
yes, yes,
And I
yes.
ask if possible that we turn this now into a bit of a discussion with the little
Sure,
time
sure,
we
sure,
have
sure. Of
left.
course, of course. Okay,
So
okay, sure,
we've had quite a few questions from
sure,
myself
sure.
and from others. What I'm
Of
going to
course.
try and do at first, I'm going to try and summarize all these questions into two big questions to try and cover as much ground as possible in the time we have left. So
Okay, sure.
hopefully
Okay.
we will, by answering those two questions, we will answer the
Uh,
list of questions here. I'm sure we won't be able to cover everything. So the first thing I wanted to ask, is there a way that people can contact you after this if they have more questions left, or if they're,
sure, sure.
interested in trying this?
I will share my email address as well as LinkedIn ID, so they can contact me. Also, let me just do it straight away. Right, so it's fine.
Thank you so much. So I'll get right to the questions. The first one has to do with the use and the billing, because obviously I saw there was a billing section, and of course, queries are not free. Somebody is paying for them. So I was wondering what the billing structure is, and importantly, is there a free version or a trial version that people can
Right, right.
try
That's
out and see how it works? And finally, uh, this relates to Fanmilayo's question. Is the cost per student, per course, per use? How does the cost structure work?
Yes, yes. Just a second. So if we go to this Humata, so whatever I have presented today is I haven't used any one can say subscription so far. But let me showcase the pricing policy. So as you can see, it offers the free version, as you can see, but the only limit to it is you can use up to 60 pages. So if you try to upload more than 60 pages in one shot, then it will give you an error, and you won't be able to interact with. So they are saying this is monthly, but what I feel is at a time you cannot upload more than 60 pages. With less than 60 pages, it works fine. And there is no limit on number of I can say prompts, that is for sure, because I've done I've used this extensively, and it was not giving me any kind of error with respect to prompts. So that means there is the limit on free pages, but not on how many questions you can ask. Previously it was there, I guess, around only you could ask only 10 questions per PDF, but as of now it is not mentioned. So I feel that they don't have limit on that as of now. But for students, as you can see, and there are some advanced versions also, as you can see, they've also integrated in some of the advanced some of the paid versions. They've integrated GPT 4 point support for of
Mhm.
GPT 4.0 also. So then your answers will be more kind of intelligent as well as relevant. That is for sure. And for student, it's so for this particular purpose, if for students, students must have this edu verified email addresses, and then free pages will be 200, So if you pay $2 per month, then you are going to get 200 pages of limit. That is for sure. And then for additional pages, you have to pay like 2 cents per page, right? I guess. And then
Mhm.
expert, as you can see, more number of pages, 500, as well as support of
My
GPT.
pal, I apologize. It's just because I mean we can all see the data, but I have just a few questions to so
Sure,
we
sure,
can
sure, sure,
better
sure, sure.
understand.
Sure,
So
sure, sure.
so if I
Sure, sir.
understand correctly, this is a product that's created by a commercial company. Are you involved in the development? Were you involved in the development of this
No,
uh,
no, 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 no.
in any way?
No,
You
no,
were
no.
a user of
No,
this
I'm just
program.
user. I'm just user.
I understand. So if somebody wanted to teach a course with this, they would have to pay for each student as a user. That's correct, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. In terms of the the accuracy, people were asking, hallucinations and so forth. You were saying
Hmm.
there is this balanced or creative mode where it pulls
Ha,
out
ha.
some kind of maybe a general purpose LLM. So is that it's pulling from GPT, I'm assuming.
Yes, yes. As per my knowledge, it's pulling from some no, maybe some previous version of GPT in balance or creative mode. If we are using unpaid version, then.
So, I mean, my assumption, and correct me if you think otherwise, because I'm not an expert, but if it is pulling from GPT, then once you choose the creative mode or balanced mode,
Hmm.
you will at some point run into hallucinations. They might be very, very infrequent, but
Of
you
course,
cannot
but
completely avoid them. But then my question is, if you're not doing that, if you're only using the grounded mode,
right, of course, of course.
what
And
happens then?
so here is the catch. In the case of our chat GPT, it's very much difficult to verify whether the answers are correct or whether AI is hallucinating or not. Whereas in this particular case, we are also getting citations. So if something has been generated, we can of course ask from where you are giving this. So if it can't provide from the document, then we must have to recheck it. But usually what will happen, what I recommend is you can go with balance mode, and most of the times it will give you correct answer. Even if it uses other resources, it will give you most of the times correct answer as per my experience.
So we can always
But
at least
for
check that the
explaining,
citations and the references and what is being
yes,
said is matching.
right, right. Because right hand side itself, we can see the PDF. So if something is coming up, we can ask from where you are taking this. So that way we can avoid those kind of issues for sure. This is
Two more.
conservative plus helpful, that in that way.
Thank you. Two more questions, I think, which are important. The first one, where do you know this is currently being used? Is this currently being used in your institute? Is it just you using it? Are others using it? Other
Uh,
institutions?
I guess unfortunately, not many people are aware of it. Right? Correctly how to use it, I don't think many are aware of it. But whenever someone sees this, especially researchers, they feel very excited about it.
Hmm.
So I feel I have told about this particular tool to some of my friends, and they have started using it for research purpose, particularly for literature survey. Because imagine a paper of length, let's say 15 or 20 pages, and you want to summarize it, right, what it's trying to suggest. So then so it will be quite helpful on those scenarios.
Are you aware
So
of any studies that have been published using Humata AI in for education specifically at all, or it would be very
no,
interesting to see
yes.
that.
I will check and get back to you, but as of now I don't think so there are many. And also I would like to add one more thing. You can also use this on your cell phone, so that is also there.
Mhm. So if I understand correctly, if I am today interested in using this, I can just go into the free version, and then in the
Yes.
free version, I mean, it's up to 60 pages, and as you've said, it's probably the same limitation. Maybe I'm guessing it's the same limitation as you have with the free version of ChatGPT, which is you
Mm.
can't do, I don't know, 1,000 queries a day, but you have enough to last you for a
Right.
while.
Then you have
So
to
I think
use your
everyone can
another
try it
email ID or
out.
something like that. And then
Let's
again you will
see if anyone thinks I've missed anything. I think I've covered the main categories if I haven't covered sort of every single question, but does anyone have any more questions or comments? Richa, maybe you have some questions or comments?
I'm actually very much excited. I think I'm going to use it like in next. I will just students can use this as self-regulation kind of thing, So let's see if we can do something. And so 60 pages means even PPTs because it
Yes,
accepts
PPT
docs,
also.
PDF,
PPT.
anything. So even PPT. So yeah.
So, so for that, what I recommend, only upload the relevant portion that on which you
Yeah,
want
yeah,
to. So that way you can
of
maybe
course. Yeah.
enhance.
So this has got little mix of perplexity as well, because perplexity also gives you a lot of, references and citations are there. So you
Yes,
know that it is not hallucination. It's not there. Yeah.
yes.
Thank you so much.
It's really interesting because only yesterday I met with a graduate student who is using ChatGPT to learn about other disciplines that are related to the topic she's working on, because she's an aerospace engineer, but she has to now learn a whole bunch of things in planetary science, like radiation belts and things that she's never studied before. And she's a PhD student. And she says that this conversation and then checking sources, right, with
Nice.
ChatGPT has been extremely useful for her. The first thing I was thinking was that student when you showed me this program, because this is in a way a more efficient and more reliable way of
Okay.
studying new things, where you can immediately see what the source is and check the source and see that it's okay. So it looks very impressive. I guess, do you know Perplexity AI, the
Yes, yes.
interface?
Actually, I have seen one of your videos on that. Right. I guess previous talk was on it itself. But I'm not using it as of now. But I will soon start using.
So I see that Benny saying Perplexity is fantastic, and I
Yes.
can already tell some differences between this and Perplexity in terms of what it can do. But I think for everyone here, it will be an interesting exercise to sort of compare the two and see the two,
So I,
because Perplexity also gives you sources and so on. But this I think actually does more for some use cases than just give you
it will
citation,
tell us the exact location, so that way you can
right?
even save your time. So let's say you got a link of one PDF, but it contains 30 pages. But here you will directly go to that particular specific page. So that way it's
Yes, I mean it seemed pretty impressive to me. I like the fact that they have a free version, so I can try it out and see what it's like. Um, and again, there's a lot of potential use cases. Um, has it been around for a long time? Is it like a brand new
I
kind
guess
of application?
in 2023 itself they got funding from Google. So it started, I guess, two years back in 2022, as of my knowledge.
Oh, that's ancient in this world. So they've sorted through some of the bugs and so on. That's why I'm
that
asking.
is,
They've had
yes.
some people use it already and find all the
Uh,
problems.